You know, he's
put up
playing with your name.
100,000. This nigga, listen, see, I got my attorney. We finna sue him. He keeps saying I'm part of the LGBT community and that he got evidence of me being with a gay pastor at a church. Now, WACK 100 done went in details about Nipsey Hussle, Larry Hoover, but he won't go in details about me. So I'm saying, shit, nigga, if you got all this information, what's keeping you from me?
I've been waiting a long time to respond to Charleston White. He says a lot of inflammatory things, and then when he gets checked on it, you know, he blames it on being a character. You know, he's able to jump back and forth between characters as he pleases, you know. This week he's an owl, next week he's a chicken, that type of shit. So, the real shit is, you know what I'm saying, he likes to bait people in because he works for law enforcement. They didn't get a case on him. That's period. And anybody can't see that. They got professional case baiters online now. People that's gonna fuck with you and say all kind of inflammatory shit and hope you about that action. So they can follow your ass all the way to the motherfucking penitentiary for life. You know? And these is real things. You know, you can't make this kind of shit up. There's people out there really suffering, you know, doing long stretches of Star Trek time behind a nigga like this. Now, this is cop on cop beef, so, you know, technically I shouldn't give a fuck. But I do. You know, it shows what kind of disloyal people that we have in our community. And sure, we have our problems. Every community does. But the problems that these niggas have is on a whole different level. It really is. And it's because of the narcissism that's implied with a man that thinks that he could just become a character one day and then say inflammatory comments about the dead the next day. Oh, but it's just a character. And we allow people like this to do things like this. No other community baits their community like that. It's childish, and it's very, very, very intolerable. And although we have a lot of childish people in our community that's willing to go the extra mile, you know, to make themselves look like jackasses, we shouldn't aid and abet them in that. You know what I'm talking about? And so that's what this nigga does. You know what I'm saying? And nothing is too big or above him slandering, you know. It could have been that a boy got killed on some innocent stuff. Maybe he was trying to change his life that week. You know, we're not so quick to be so judgmental, you know, on anybody but ourselves. And we already so judgmental on us, we don't need a caricature. A minstrel show, a walking minstrel show with jagged teeth on the bottom telling us what we should and shouldn't do. That's one last thing I'd like to address. The whole lawsuit over the LGBTQ community. Let me tell y'all something. If they allow a lawsuit like that to go through, they will completely obliterate due process and the First Amendment. We all have a right to free speech. You understand that? So by them people like, you know, Cardi B filing lawsuits for slander against people and actually winning based on, you know, rumors or innuendos or maybe even an incorrect story. You know, those things go on. That's called a rumor. You know, that happens. If you try to sue everybody that started a rumor about you, we wouldn't have any free speech. So that's the first thing. And, you know, Charleston White, he should know that better than anybody else. You know, doesn't he have a degree in some sort of, you know, law shit? what is it called? Is he a paralegal or something of that nature? I'm not really sure. He's definitely a fucking clown. That's one thing we do know for sure. Might be an educated penitentiary clown, but he is one. Education doesn't give you common sense or savvy. So let me put that out there, which he has none. You know, maybe a little charisma because he could use disdaining and vitriol language in order to bait people in, but people that's of the right age pay attention to foolish shit like that and foolish ass people. And we definitely got something to say. But back to the LGBTQ community. You know, once upon a time when I was growing up, we called it bagging, some called it capping. You know what I'm saying? The dozens, lots of names. We teased people, you know, talk shit about people, and people talk shit about us and teased us. But it was all in fun, you know. Maybe even a little fist fight might have rumbled out of it or something, but it was still in fun, you know. Now we to the level where people are shooting people and suing people. Shooting and suing, you know. What kind of shit is that? You know, we used to be a diplomatic world and country, especially, where, you know, we might have our differences, but we settled them. And that was the end of it. You know, unless there was a threat to our family or something of that nature, guns wasn't necessary. So Charleston White talk about all these guns he got. You know, he's an advocate for the devil. He talks about he helps children, right? But what have he really done documented for any child? We ain't never seen the child or their parents come out and say, this man did this and whoopie wop for us. You know? And then you gotta wonder, was he doing that for them or was he doing it for himself? You know, to advance his political career. These are real questions, you know what I'm saying? And if he'd ever like to sit down with me and have a talk with me and tell me why he does these things, and if he's trying to use some sort of psychology that he learned in his law school, that shit ain't working. That shit is nothing but inflammatory language infused upon you by the slave masters that put your ass in that cell. And just because you can learn a whole bunch of big time trick knowledge verbiage doesn't make you special, nigga. No, it doesn't. It just makes you an adult asshole. Fucking narcissist.